What's up, you guys? Um, if you hear any random coughing, I'm sorry. I'm sick. I've been sick for almost 3 weeks. It's, it's stubborn. Anyway, I don't know. I had an urge to do this video. I did. Um, so hopefully this isn't going to be long. I'm going. I'm going to try and not make it long. Um, I just kind of. I wanted to let you guys know what's coming up next. Um, I haven't forgotten about the American Slavery series at all. It takes a lot of time. It's an extensive series. I'm going to go through some of the books and stuff that I'll be using for the new topics that are coming up. And when I mean go through them, I mean just simply showing you some of the books I plan on using. Let me kind of just show you or tell you what exactly it is. Hold on, let me find the. Let me see, where is it? Hold on. Okay, here we go. These are their working titles. All right, 1 second. Okay, hold on. Trying to find the page. Here we are. So there are two series coming up, and one is called "How African Culture Survived in America: the History of Black Culture in America." There's about 5 parts to it. Language, and when I mean language, I mean linguistics, in particular, Black speech, um, Ebonics, that kind of thing, African American vernacular. I don't like using the term Black English simply because it's not English. And I know I know how that sounds, but when I get into it in the series, you have a better I think if you're not familiar with linguistics, you have a better understanding of what that is, what I mean by that. Um, so language, art, in particular, for art, it's music. That's my strong point for the most part. Maybe it's a little dance, in there somewhere. Um, what else? Relational patterns, traditions, food, religion, and spirituality. That last aspect is simply just sort of tracing some of the manifestations within Black culture in America, um, like in terms of how we worship, and some of that includes dance actually. Yeah, it certainly does. So just kind of how it links back to Africa in that sense. Um, I don't plan on delving into anything else. That's something separate. So that's it on that. The second topic is kings, queens, heroes, and inventors. Part one. There'll be different parts because it's focusing on is taking a Pan African approach. Okay, so of Africa and within America, of Africa and within the Caribbean, of Africa and within Latin America, things like that. Okay, so expect those series at some point. Okay. Um, language. Um, I'm already referencing like 15 books already. Let me kind of show you some of the ones. I'm going to go online real quick, kind of show you some of the books that I'll be using for linguistics, language. I will probably get really technical in the video, but I'll try and uh, make it easy to understand, I guess, if you're not familiar with linguistics and all of that. Let me show you some of the books that I'll be using for linguistics. Okay, let me show you. One of them is called Africanisms. I highly recommend this book. Let me do a picture here. Okay, this is the book. Let's see here. It's a bit smaller. Okay, here's. It's a very good book. I do recommend it if you're interested. So that's one book. Another is the Skin That We Speak by Lisa Delpit. Okay. All right. That's the book. Another that I'll be using is Spoken Soul, which is a good book in many ways, by Rickford. All right. Black Children. Their Roots. Oops. Can't spell. Their Roots or K-Type. One or two. Right? Okay. So this is a book. And she has others as well. What's one that she has? Let me click on it and probably give me some suggestions. Okay, here's one. Learning While Black is one that she has. I have that book. There's some other books she has as well. I think she has maybe 2 or 3 books that are out there. Make the Fire is another. Okay. Let's see. Talking That Talk by Geneva Smitherman, who is huge in the linguistics field, and in particular the subfield of Black speech, Black talk, whatever you want to call it. But don't call it Black English. I'll explain. Talking and Testifying is a book that she's written as well. Black Talk is another. Okay. Talking That Talk. All right. She has a new one out. She has a new one out. I don't have this book. I'm gonna have to get this one. She has a new one out called well, it's in conjunction with another person. I actually have that book. I just haven't read it. Oh, here we go, right here. Articulate While Black. Okay. I'm gonna have to. I haven't. Yeah, I don't have this book. When did they release this? I'm gonna have to take a look at it. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So I mean, those are some of the books. There's a book that I'll be using, in particular, to reference pretty much all of these aspects. It's really a volume set series. Why that sound like it didn't come out right? Anyways, it's a set, and it's about 1,000 pages, I think. I haven't purchased it yet, but I plan to. But but let me but I mean I'm going to be using it mostly for music, I think. But I'm also probably going to glean from it a lot of the other elements of it: art, food, religion, spirituality, um, language. You know, I'm sure all that's in there. It's a really, really wonderful set of books. But let me show you. I'm gonna show you. I'm just gonna yell out, not yell out, but just sort of tell you some of the other books that I'll be using um, for this series. Okay. I'm not gonna go into the other series. 'Cause that's gonna take too long. So, The Power of Black Music, Soul Thieves, definitely. A Fire in the Bones, um, The Spirituals and the Blues, Black Theology and Black Power, Africa and the Blues. That's ethnomusicology. That's very technical. Black Culture and Black Consciousness. So I'll leave a list of the books in case you want to check them out. All right. I'll also kind of go into some journal articles, just kind of, I mean, just in case people are interested in, you know, if you have an interest in journal articles and you don't really know where to go, I'll show you where to go. I get a lot of my journal articles for free. You know, a lot of times you can look up real good on Google, you know, and just punch in some keywords and you'll find some really good journal articles for free. Um, but I'll show you other ways you can get your journal articles, okay? If you're interested in that, or if you don't know where to go or whatever. Um, excuse me, I'm sorry. um, if you ever decide to get into linguistics, and in particular the subfield of Ebonics or Black linguistics, you are going to encounter this cell out here. Okay, M. Doesn't he look like he used to get T's in school? I know that's terrible. I shouldn't say that, but he does. It looks like look at him. Okay, that's not nice. Okay. Anyway, let me quickly tell you, uh, he is ashamed of the way we speak. Okay, he is ashamed of it. Um, Basically, there's a divide. Okay, on one end of the spectrum, it's the white side, which is what he adheres to. Um, and the other end of the spectrum is one that's based upon an African structure, okay, which is where I lean towards. Okay. Um, People on the other end of the spectrum, the white spectrum, well, that was a weird way to put that, but people who lean more towards the white argument that somehow the way we speak is a derivative of a British dialect. That's one of the problems within this field is you have white people trying to classify and determine and define um, black culture or an aspect of black culture. I mean that's what they do. They simply feel as though their authority, right? Or their perspectives, right? Their cultural standards, what they think, how they view things, is the default. Is the truth. Everyone else has to conform and reshape to that. That's how they think. If you haven't read Yurugu by Dr. Mariba Ani, I certainly suggest it. Highly encourage you to before that book is no longer in publication. It's a very good book. I'm still reading that book. I have a lot of books like that. Like like I'll dig into it and then I'll go to another. And then I'll come back to that one, and then I'll go to another. I just keep going back to it until I finish it. It's weird, but it's not an easy read, and it's I'll put it this way, um, once you understand the terminology, things like that, to me at least, it became a smoother read. A smoother read. Okay, once you understand the terminology, because there's new terminology. Okay. Anyway, part of the problem, again, is having non-blacks defined or redefined or allowing them to do those things in regards to us. Okay. And so this is what happens. Okay. So anyway, basically the white side says black speech is a derivative of bad bad English that was spoken. Okay. The other end of the spectrum, the black side, is that um, the way we speak is directly from the Niger-Congo language structures within Africa. Okay, I'll get into it. So, like, let me think. What examples can I give you guys? Um, okay, the th cluster, that cluster, whether it's in the front of a word or in the back of a word. Okay, so something like truth, right? That's in the back. The th cluster is in the back of the word. Mouth, right? Th cluster in the back of the word. Or that, the th clusters at the front of the word. Those, these, that. Okay. That cluster does not exist in nearly all languages. Okay. And to this day, you will find that in those languages where the th cluster does not exist, it gets replaced with what exists in that language. Okay, this is what happened with English. They're not telling people this. The English language is not made up of English words. Well, not a whole lot of them, but it has a mixed lexicon. It's mixed. All right. The words we speak, the words that are coming out of my mouth, are not English in totality. Okay. So the vocabulary of a language does not make a language what it is. That kind of sounded redundant, but y'all get what I'm saying. Okay, the vocabulary of a language doesn't make up what a language is. Well, I mean, it doesn't determine it to be a particular language. Okay, so the words I'm speaking don't make what we speak in English. All right. I think I lost my train of thought. I did. I did. I did. Jeez. Oh man. Okay. I'm sure it'll come back to me. But anyway, yes. Okay. Yes, here we are. So those clusters, right? They don't exist in those languages. Okay. Right? That the th cluster doesn't exist. So again, it gets replaced with what does exist in that language or those languages. That's the same thing. Okay. That's no different than um, Africans, us, no different than us. See, basically, the white side is saying we came over here with no language. That's what they're saying. That end of the spectrum is saying black folks came over to these areas, in particular America, because that's where I'm focusing right now, with no language, no sophisticated, no language, with just grunts and sounds, no language, and that we picked up the bad way that the British dialect was being spoken, or that we picked up bad English from the British dialect. I mean, that's what it's saying. Um, so obviously, That's a little bull. But that is the undercurrent of that argument, whether they admit it or not. Um, in the Niger Congo language structure, which is all across Africa, right? Um, in fact, let me show you. I'll show you real quick. Let me show you. I will show you just 1 second. Okay. Let me see if I can find you a good. Oh, here's a good one. I think this is a good one. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. Okay. So when I say Niger Congo language structures, I mean all of these. Okay. All right, the red over here. This is mostly where we came from. Okay, right over here. Now, Afro-Asian. Okay, I'm not gonna get into that, but Niger Congo. Boom, boom, boom. This is all Niger Congo. Okay. Okay. Now, um, in particular, it gets replaced with what exists, right? So, excuse me, you're gonna see these same shifts in speech patterns that are persistent elements in America and in Jamaican speech and in blacks from the motherland, blacks coming from the continent, right? They have this, you're going to see these same speech patterns, right? For whatever reason, um, blacks in America get a bad rap for speaking the same shifts, okay? But, anyways, now everybody's trying to use it. Anyways, so let me see. That is going to become that. This is going to become this. All right. They is going to become they, DEY. Okay. What else? Mouth is going to become mouth with an F, or just the T. Okay. Truth is going to become truth, or or just the T. Truth. Okay. Um, what's the matter? Bathroom is going to become bath with the F. Bathroom. Okay. Um, birthday will become birthday. Okay. I mean, that's what it is. That's what it becomes. Uh, what's another? The reason why black people say axe with the X is because ask, that sound, it doesn't exist in Niger Congo language structures. It doesn't exist. And so it gets flipped, right? It gets reversed, right? And so it becomes axe, axe, axe. Okay, that's what it becomes because that sound doesn't exist in Niger Congo language structures. All right. What's some others? When we run words together, so we clip the end of one word, right? The end of it, and then we clip the beginning of the next word. Okay, so something uh, like the ve on the end of a word, give, have gets cut off, and it'll get ran into the next word. Let me give you an example. You can't have that. Now, if you noticed, right, I didn't put it, that was a very soft D. Now, when you encounter blacks from other countries, they're gonna have a hard D sound a lot of times, right? They're gonna have a hard D. A lot of times in American black speech in America, we don't always have a hard D sound. Okay. Okay. So, they'll be like, "Give me that." or you can't have that, right? Soft D, very soft D. You can't have that, right? And if you also notice, the VE on have I cut is cut off. You'll also when I get into talking about it, you'll also understand why we add the S to something like mine. Okay, that deals with tense aspect. Okay, tense. Yeah, that deals with tense aspect marker. Okay, you'll understand why we remove the S on words that should be there, or you'll understand why we remove the to be verb. We pull it out. Again, this deals with tense aspect. Okay, so something like uh, where is she is where she at. Something like she is going to the store, right? Becomes she going to the store, right? You'll understand why we use things and words like the habitual be. She be going, I be going, right? Oh, yeah, she be going to the store all the time. You'll understand why that occurs. Okay. What are some other ones? Who is in the bathroom, right? Becomes who in the bathroom? Who in the bathroom? Right? That's what it becomes. That the to be verb is removed. What's some others? She been gone, right? To someone non-black, and okay, yeah, to someone non-black, that's gonna have a very different meaning. You'll also understand. You'll also understand inflection, right? In tone, and how that shapes and affects the meaning, right, of what's being said. I'll show you how it connects back to Africa and how tonal markers, where the inflection, right, determines the meaning, right? So, um, she been married, and that there's two separate um, uh, inflections, right? When you raise your voice up and down, up and down, up and down, right? Um, or when you place an emphasis, right? Or when you don't place an emphasis, or stress a certain word at a certain point within the sentence. Okay. That they carry different meanings, right? Those two separate inflections in that, when it's said one way and said another way, they carry different meanings, right? You'll understand that more. So something like she been married, to someone non-black will mean something different. To someone black, you'll understand exactly what's being said. Um, well, there's something else, but I mean, I want people to understand, don't downplay this. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's who we are. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Period. Nothing to be ashamed of. It's not broken English. It's not bad English. It's none of that. It don't come from white folks. All right. Um, what ends up happening? Let me tell you what they do. Let me tell you what the issue is here, and when dealing with this in linguistics, what they like to do is say, I can match up this, I can match up this with these two populations. They're speaking uh, the same quote unquote language, even though we aren't. They have these similarities, whoop de woo, yada yada yada. But the black folks must have got it from the white folks. Because the similarities are present, right? Because there's parallelism, because we can match certain things. Like black folks didn't have a language on their own. The problem is they treat black speech like it's a dialect when it isn't. What it was is we came over. What it is see when the correct term for a derivative, of a within a language family is called divergence. Now, what I'm getting ready to point out is something different from that. Now, what it is, you have all these similarities. Just because you have all these similarities and parallelisms and all of that, that doesn't necessarily suggest it's divergence. It's simply two different populations who happen to share some features. That's normal. As I said, the TH cluster is damn near non-existent in nearly all languages. Okay? When I mean the same features, I mean subjects, verb, object, like noun phrases, verb phrases, that kind of thing. All right? I mean, this is why they act like black folks didn't have a language. Or different languages. They act like we didn't have that. Oh, subject, verb, object. That actually exists. Word order, sentence structure, subject, verb, object, noun phrases, verb phrases, that kind of thing. Okay, that actually exists in Niger-Congo language structures. It exists somehow or another. It disappeared, I guess. Oh my god! But what it is you have two separate populations who share some features, very common. Okay, and they met up at a certain point in time. That's all it is. That's convergence, not divergence, right? But convergence. Anyway, like I said, I just kind of wanted to, I don't want, because I see so many people try and downplay it, and that's simply because it gets ridiculed by non-blacks because they don't understand it, they don't know what it is, and they're ignorant. And because black people don't like being, nobody likes being ridiculed, but you have to have enough um, pride in who you are as a person, right? To not let their ignorance and stupidity determine your self worth. I know that's easier said than done for a lot of people, and that's why it's so important to raise black children. Important to raise black children and socialize them in a way that instills um, the proper knowledge and understanding of who they are, their history, um, their self worth in relationship to who they are as black people, African people, um, and to have a good understanding of white people's mindset. When you have a good understanding of their mindset, you know where they're coming from. They're coming from a place of insecurity. They're coming from a place of basically that's all I'm getting into. I don't want to go into it, but that's basically what it is. Okay. Um, so it's important to do that. because that they're going to do that. They're going to do that. They don't like black people having anything of their own. They have an ownership mentality. They have an ownership mentality. That is their mentality. I don't care how nice they are. They have an ownership mentality. Period. But anyway, speaking of children, the best thing about not having children of your own and not being attached to anyone, um, in terms of a romantic relationship, is what's the right word I'm looking for? You don't have any restraints, any restrictions. You know, when you're ready, you're ready. Don't allow other people to pressure you. You know, I get asked all the time, when are you gonna have kids? When are you gonna get quote unquote married? And I'm like, well, whenever it happens, it happens. I mean, that's my take on it. I love kids. Yeah, I love them, but I am not ready for that. And what ends up happening is you jump into something prematurely, and you're not ready. That could create some resentment for some people. You know, I don't think I'd have any resentment. I mean, I don't know because I don't plan to move in that direction right now. But I'm just saying that could create some resentment because for some people they haven't fully fleshed out what they wanted to do in life, or they have passions or interests or things like that they're working towards or things like that. And children, I mean, they change the course of things big time. Delays upon delays upon delays upon delays, and if there is any sort of resentment, unconscious or not, that can have an impact on a lot of things. So, you just want to, if you're not ready, you're not ready. If you happen to be in a situation where you get yourself uh, like that, in that situation, then that's what it is. I mean, work with it, and like I said, it's not going to be the resentment is not going to be created for everyone, but for some people, it might. I think I might be one of those people. I don't know. I haven't really. I don't know. So I'm making sure that um, I'm ready. You know, you know. Yeah, you have to make sure that you're ready. You know. Um, yeah. And in terms of like relationship, marriage, and all that, I mean, you can't be desperate. That's a problem. People, they're so desperate. They're desperate, desperate, and you, or how black folks say it, thirsty. Oh shit! I think I scratched a scab. Anyways, but people they're thirsty, and you end up that can cause big problems if you're thirsty, if you're desperate, that can cause problems. You can make bad choices, bad picks, and people, bad judgments, and you'll end up in a continuous cycle because you went from one bad judgment to the next, one bad judgment to the next, one bad judgment to the next. And I'm not just talking in romantic relationships, even friendships, even friendships. Um, the word friend is like that word is like it's so, or to me at least. I don't know how others. I don't know how but that, I just feel like that word is used way too loosely. maybe it's just my personality, the kind of person I am. But I don't be calling everybody a friend. A friend, I don't do that. For me to call you a friend, sorry, excuse me. For me to call you a friend, um, you're special. Because I don't let everybody in like that. I'm a very reserved person. For like I think a lot of times my personality confuses a lot of people. I don't know. I think it does, but I don't know. But I think sometimes when people first see me, um, I, I think at times I can be a bit of a paradox. I think, but what it is I have to get a feel of people and a feel of the environment or the atmosphere. I'm one of those people. I gotta kind of warm up to you, see you a few times, before I truly, just kind of go in there with it. But I don't know. Sometimes it's like that, and then other times, um, I'm a little more open. It just depends, how I'm feeling, But about it, um, because I don't allow everybody. I don't mess with a lot of people, on a personal front. Like I don't mess with a lot of, and I show as hell. I don't mess with non-blacks at all. On a personal level, I have to deal with them professionally a lot of times, but on the personal level, I don't mess with them at all. But like I'm very picky. Like my best friend, she like I love her to death. But we're childhood friends, and are um, childhood friendships are what they are, right? They are what they are. Um, Anything a friendship, if I establish a friendship outside of that, the thing about me is I cultivate friendships, right? So like, I like to take my time with them. I like to get to know a person. Um, I'm very one on one a lot of times, most of the time, because it allows me to really peer into that person, you know, and then I can expand to other people. Once I've, you know, really honed in on that person and got to know them, then I can expand beyond that. It's an interesting process, but I nurture them, I cultivate them. It's very hard for me to. I think I'm venting. I feel like venting. It's so weird. I'm actually, like I said, I'm very private, but I think because it's just me talking, you know, it doesn't. I know it's weird. Anyways, but I'm extremely private, very private person. But I think oh, look at me getting off topic. Anyways, so yeah, I nurture and cultivate relationships, whether they're friendships or romantic relationships. Um, and it's very hard for me to, and it's not because I'm my best friend. My friend says I'm antisocial. I'm not antisocial. I'm selectively social. I'm very selective about who I spend my time with. I'm very selective about the energy I put into people. So I'm just very careful, you know, about that. Um, because my relationships, they're very important to me. And if you're not serious or anything like that, I don't have time for that. And I'm not really into superficiality. Very hard for me a lot of times to establish certain types of um, connections. When I mean connection, I mean like a deep connection with somebody, not romantic Well, I'm talking about friendships right now, but just like just a deeper connection that lies outside of superficiality. And it's hard because I'm very I'm very intellectual, and most of the people that I come across are not like that in real life. When I come across them in real life, I can come across them on the internet sometimes, but that's obviously the internet. I mean, um, but in real life, they're very hard to come by, and so. Uh, and I'm not just talking to intellectualism. I'm talking about other areas where it's just it's a deeper connection. Most people are just a deeper connection, um, and that's hard to find. Um, I found it. I have found it. I have, but and I gotta love. I have a lot of love and care for this person, but um, I think they might be too scared. Yeah, I think they might be too scared, and you can't force anything. You just keep being yourself, right? And you allow people to the space that they may need, and hopefully they they see the possibilities, right? So, but yeah, the word friend is used way too loosely for my tastes. I don't call everybody a friend at all. Now, I have acquaintances. My circle is very small. If you're curious, um, there's different types of introverts. Um, my particular type is INFJ. I N as in Niger, F as in family, right, and J as a judge. So INFJ. But that's my personality type. It just it's interesting to read. If you take the test, you can take the test, and it's interesting. But anyways, none of that shit was it has anything to do with the topic. So let me show you real quick the some of the books that I'll be using, or at least the the volume set, right? That I'll be using for this series here. Let's see, scholarly publications. Here we are. I believe it was Sage. Okay, here we are. Okay, 1 second. Okay, here it is right here. All right. Let me zoom in just a little bit so you guys can read it. Okay, so yeah, you can pause it. This is also a place where you can where you can purchase journal articles. I call these publishing companies. I'm sorry, I have my nose. I call them journal houses, and I call them, that's just my personal reference for them, and I call them that because they house journals and books and stuff, textbooks. A lot of times you can get some really. This is how I keep up with any of the fields that that I'm in. So journals. And this here, the disciplines, you can take a look here. All right, let's just go here. I'm just picking one. You can either subscribe to the entire journal, or you can purchase individual journal articles within that journal. Okay, and the publication is sometimes bi-monthly or every quarter. It just depends on the journal. Okay. Let me show you some others. Science Direct is another. So you just go to journals, okay? I don't know why it's taking so long. Alright, here we go. So here we are. They have a ton. Okay. And up here, fields. Okay. Okay. What's another? Was it? Was it Oxford? Yeah, you can do journal articles from Oxford as well. There's also another book in here. All right, there's all you do A to Z, journals by subject, that kind of thing. There's also a book that has absolutely nothing to do with this topic or the series, but I think it might be a good choice to purchase the book. If African Athena, this piggybacks off of Martin Bernal's Black Athena. So I haven't read this book. I haven't even purchased it yet, but I plan to. It's good to have, I think. What's another? JSTOR is also another. They have plans that start at $10 and you get access. Okay. They also have a free version here where you can do, you have access to the entire database, but you could only read like 3 journal articles at a time or something like that. Okay. Let's see. APA is good. They have journal articles. Remember, these places also have textbooks. Okay, take a look. Remember to take a look at those textbooks if you're interested. So yeah, publications and databases. So journals, stuff like that. Okay. Another is Deep Dive. You can do 2 weeks free trial, and they have they have a good selection. They could do better, but they have a pretty good wide range, I think. Like, let me see if I could put it. I just put Africa or something like that. So it's a lot. Okay. And after the 2 week trial is $50 a month. So that might be of value to you, depending upon how often you intend to use the service. Okay. Springer is another. These are databases I use. Yeah. Most times, if you don't have access to the journal articles in full, you can get abstracts. Abstracts usually give a pretty good overview of the entire journal article. Okay. So let me just show you that real quick. Let's see. I'm just gonna show you real quick. Wait, this probably ain't what I'm looking for. But yeah, okay, abstract. Yeah, okay. Most times. Oh, NCBI is also a really good place for journal articles. Okay. So, yeah, okay. What else? I think there was another. Yeah. ProQuest. ProQuest is closed off. You can get like dissertations and theses, but that's it. Let me show you. It's closed off, right? Right. I plan. Yeah. So you can get like this, like theses, dissertations, theses, things like that. Let me go back to the website. I'll show you. The website's stupid. So here's their website. So if you go here, dissertations and theses, you can input whatever you want, and that person's dissertation or thesis will come up if it's published. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't think I really have anything else to add. This code is stubborn. Seriously, that's crazy. So yeah, look out for those series. I'm sorry for the what I do, but yeah. So just look out for those, and that's it. All right, y'all. Bye.